So let's look at some examples using geometry problems. Here's one example. The width of a rectangle is 3 feet less than the length. The perimeter is 10 feet. Find the length and the width. So what do we know and what don't we know? So we know that the width is 3 feet less than the length, and we know perimeter is 10 feet. We also know this formula that we can use. Perimeter equals 2 lengths plus 2w. Or we can just remember that perimeter is walking all the way around. What do we not know? We don't know length and we don't know our width. So I'm going to say let L equal our length and let the width be L minus 3. Now whenever you're doing geometry problems, it's always really helpful just to draw a picture. So here's my picture over here. There's length, length minus 3, length, length minus 3. So when I'm writing out perimeter, I write perimeter equals, well, length plus length minus 3 plus length minus 3. That's if I didn't remember the formula. So, but I also know that perimeter is 10. And here is, if I did use the formula, it would look like this. 2 lengths plus 2 times L minus 3. And that's actually the same thing as here. Well, now I can go ahead and use distributive properties. So I go 2 times L and 2 times negative 3. That gave me 2L and negative 6. Combine all my like terms, so I get 4L there. Subtract 6 from both sides. Divide both sides by 4. I get 4 equals length. But I'm not finished. All I found was my length. I need to go back and find my width. My width was L minus 3. So I'm going to say 4 minus 3, and that gave me 1. Now I can't just say 4 and 1. If I say the width is 4, or the length is 4 and the width is 1, that doesn't mean anything. 4 what? 1 what? So I need to write that out. So I know that the length is 4 feet, the width is 1 foot, and I can check my answer. 4 minus 3 is 1. That told us that the width of a rectangle is 3 feet less than the length. Well, that was true there. And let's see if the perimeter is 10. Well, that would mean 4 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1. Hey, that gave me 10. Here's another problem that's a little trickier. You have to think about it, and sometimes it helps to draw a picture on this type of problem too. One angle in a triangle is half the largest angle, but 3 times the smallest. Find all 3 angles. So what do I know and what do I not know? I know one angle is half the largest. I know that this angle is also 3 times the smallest. So that angle that I'm thinking about is probably the middle angle. What do I not know? I don't know the 3 angles. So it really helped for me to draw this out to think about it. So here was my middle angle, and I called that X. Then I had my smallest angle and my largest angle, and I had to think about, well, what did that mean? So if I let my middle angle equal X, what I want you to notice here, my middle angle is X, then I know if my middle angle is X, and if my middle angle is supposed to be half of my largest, then my largest will be 2 times my middle angle, because I would go 2 times 1/2 to get rid of that 1/2, and then I'd have to do it on this side to get 2x. Then I also know that this angle, the middle angle, is 3 times the smallest. So this is the middle angle X is 3 times the smallest. But I don't want 3 times the smallest, I just want the smallest. So I need to divide that side by 3, and then I also have to divide that side by 3. And that is how I can find out what my angles are. So I went back to my picture, and I have my middle angle was X, and my largest is 2x, and my smallest is X over 3. And I need to use that. What fact am I going to use? Well, I know that all angles added together add up to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to say X plus 2x plus X over 3 equals 180. Well, I notice that this problem has a fraction in it. So I'm going to use my little trick with fractions, that when I have a fraction in an equation, I can use the least common denominator to solve it. And so I'm going to, my least common denominator here was 3. I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to multiply it to both sides of the equation. So here I multiply it to everything, not just the piece with the denominator. Everything needs to be multiplied. So when I do that, I have to use my distributive property. So I get 3x plus 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times x over 3 leaves me with just an x. 3 times 180 gives me 540. Here I combine my like terms. I get 10x equals 540. Divide both sides by 10, I get x equals 54. Well, that gave me my middle angle, but now I need my largest angle, and that was 2 times x, so that's 2 times 54 gives me 108. And I need my smallest angle, which is x divided by 3, so that gives me 54 divided by 3, which is 18. So my angles are 18 degrees, because we measure angles by degrees, 54 degrees and 100 degrees. I can check my answer. Hey, look it. 18 plus 54 plus 108 does equal 180.